Today we will be discussing on the stages of curriculum development, in that the finalization stage. There are several questions that are central to relate problems being documented. Are results from empirical research available? Have attempts been made to reduce their deficits? This analysis of the existing research on teaching and learning processes should be conducted cyclically and continuously. When new material is available, it should be evaluated and compared, and the research objectives should be altered as needed. This analysis must be done with the practitioners to ensure that the collected data is relevant with respect to the problems that exist in concrete practice. This ongoing analysis should be conducted in parallel with the whole research process. In order to structure, improve, test, and evaluate practice, it is essential to gather background information from scientists and scientific literature, and to learn about and from the experience and creativity of researchers and practitioners. Every kind of action research is described as being cyclical. This is one of the main differences between action research and more conventional research designed. At the beginning, the teaching approaches the designed that are then used and tested with the objective of improving practice in the teaching group. So first, professional teaching concepts are designed. These initial designs are used and tested as early as possible to see whether they have the potential to solve problem in teaching practice. The external researchers and the teacher plan implementation of the curricula together. The process of the planning as a group is important because it ensures that the design are capable with the needs of everyday practitioners. Planning together also ensures that the test of the teaching concepts and the evaluation are being conducted simultaneously by all the teachers. The inclusion of practical teachers' experiences is one of the main differences between the participatory action research method and the way that curricula are normally developed. In most cases, external institutions prepare finished teaching concepts that are not evaluated by practitioners until the structure and design have already been finalized. The objective is to improve practice step by step with each cycle of development. In order to do so, each of the cycles must be analyzed and evaluated. The evaluation should take the perspectives of all of the participants, that is, teachers, students, and researchers, into consideration. On the other hand, the curricula are developed within a practical setting and using closed cycle of development and testing. For this reason, evaluation tools and strategies should be chosen that are appropriate for the setting. They can be adapted during the research processes as needed, and they should be further improved during each cycle of development. Several methods are suitable, like standardized questionnaires, documentation of verbal feedback, group discussion among the participants, practitioners, or simple interviews with the students. These methods can also be supplemented with an evaluation of teaching material that were developed It has been suggested that classical strategies that apply a quantitative understanding of evaluation are not appropriate for at least this kind of curriculum development. This is because there are far too many influencing factors, and the researchers and practitioners are personally involved. A qualitative and interpretive paradigms is more suitable for this type of research. The validity of the interpretations can be tested or confirmed during discussion between external researchers and practitioners. The criteria defined can be used as a guideline: possibilities, credibilities, relevance, and importance, as opposed to classical procedures. The practical experience of the teacher and their assessment of their teaching success plays an important role in evaluating the research. The teachers have a permanent influence on the research process. If the evaluation indicates that the curriculum changes were successful at reducing teaching and learning deficits, the development and research process can be continued in a new phase and will potentially lead to even more improvement. The newly developed research phase should try to determine the reasons behind the deficits and the impact of the changes that were made during the previous round of research. The intention is to obtain general yet relevant background information. With each cycle, the improvements in the teaching concepts should be more significant, better throughout, and more broadly applicable based on our experiences. It is helpful to define three phases that are similar to those described. Each of these three phases can consist of several cycles of development: testing, evaluation, and reflection. The first phase is carried but a small team. In this phase, the problem is considered, the relevant knowledge is analyzed, and first provisional concepts are developed. The concepts are then tested in single group in order to decide whether the planned interventions have the potential to improve practice. In the second phase, the team is created that consists of a group of teachers. The integration of teachers who were not involved in the first phase is the most important aspect of this phase. Their conclusion broadens the field of practice and also provides imparting feedback on the result of phase 1, while working to motivate the teachers and explain the legitimation of the new approaches. The teachers provide feedback and researchers are forced to rethink their assumption during the second phase. Most of the work entails planning for changes in teaching practice, carrying them out, and reflecting on the result. In the third phase, the main task is the dissemination of the result into practice. This also requires an evaluation of the new teaching method and material to determine whether or not they have been documented well enough that external practitioners can apply them without additional training. The term action plan implies that it is necessary to document and report the work and result continuously while the research process is taking place. These type of reports can help to improve practice outside of the research team, even if they only mention problems or deficits they have arisen during the research process. Therefore, the decision and interpretation should be well documented. The documentation may also include a description of the background and individual interest of the practitioners and researchers. In the end, the reader will decide whether he or she feels that the described approaches are authentic, relevant, and credible, and whether or not they would be beneficial for their individual practice. Action research is carried out in a social setting with the objective of the improving practice. Hence, it always has an influence on practice and the persons involved. When using the procedure described above, this effect is especially significant if the provisional concepts are applied and if they are tested by teachers who are not fully trained in the new approaches. All of the persons involved should consider the influence they have on practice. They should ensure that the influence on practice do not inadequately damage or harm any of the personal interest of the teachers or students' involvement. For example, if the students are switching their teachers, class, or school, it is possible to switch back to the conversational concept of necessary without undue disadvantages for student or teachers. The skill taught and the learning objective of the lesson are at least as valuable as those taught using the conventional method. Even though the nature of the skills and information can be different, all decisions made concerning changes in practice acknowledge the influence they have on practice. All data from real practice is handled confidentially, especially evaluative and assessment data. This method of chemical education research was developed and has been applied for about 3 years now. The modern project deals with designing new approaches to teaching the particulate nature of matter more efficiently. It is a cooperative project that is being carried out by the University of Dortmund and several middle, comprehensive and grammar schools in western and northern Germany. The project is now entered into the second phase and 1 year of board testing and evaluation has been conducted. Important steps, and at the end of each school year a board evaluate took place. An attempt was made by gather opinions on the research from the practitioners, the students, and the external researchers using various evaluation tools. Thank you.